For centuries, the Ottoman Empire loomed large in the European imagination. This vast and powerful realm, stretching from the Balkans to the Persian Gulf, was a source of both fascination and fear. To European eyes, the Ottomans were a mysterious and exotic people. They were admired for their military prowess and the splendor of their court. Yet they were also feared as a threat to Christendom, their armies marching to the beat of a different drum. This complex relationship, a mixture of admiration and apprehension, shaped European perceptions of the Ottomans for centuries. It influenced everything from diplomacy and warfare to art and literature. To understand this enduring legacy, we must journey back to the very beginnings of the Ottoman Empire. We must explore its rise to power, its clashes with Europe, and its eventual decline and fall. Only then can we grasp the profound impact the Ottomans had on the course of European history and the shaping of the modern world. Their story is a reminder that history is not merely a collection of dates and battles, but a tapestry woven from the threads of human ambition, conflict, and cultural exchange. And the Ottoman Empire, with its rich and complex history, offers a particularly vibrant and compelling thread in this tapestry. The story of the Ottoman Empire begins not in the bustling cities of Constantinople or Cairo, but amidst the rugged hills of Anatolia. It was here, in the early 14th century, that a small Turkish tribe led by Osman I laid the foundations for what would become one of the world's most enduring empires. Osman, a shrewd and ambitious leader, took advantage of the decline of the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum to expand his territory. Through a combination of diplomacy and military might, he united neighboring Turkish tribes and began to carve out an independent principality, or Beylik. The early Ottomans were renowned for their military prowess, particularly their skilled cavalry, and their use of light infantry known as akinci. They were also quick to adopt new technologies, such as gunpowder, which gave them a decisive advantage over their enemies. Osman's successors continued his expansionist policies, pushing westward into Byzantine territory. By the mid-14th century, the Ottomans had established themselves as a major power in Anatolia and were poised to cross the Dardanelles into Europe. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations that would reshape the map of the Mediterranean world. The year 1453 marks a pivotal moment in the history of both the Ottoman Empire and Europe. It was in this year that Sultan Mehmed II, known as the Conqueror, achieved what had once seemed unthinkable: the capture of Constantinople, the legendary capital of the Byzantine Empire. For centuries, Constantinople had stood as a bastion of Christianity and a symbol of Roman imperial power. Its formidable walls had withstood countless sieges, earning it a reputation as an impregnable fortress. But Mehmed, a brilliant strategist and ruthless commander, was determined to make the city his own. He assembled a vast army, equipped with the latest military technology, including massive cannons capable of smashing through the city's defenses. The siege of Constantinople lasted for 53 days, a brutal and bloody affair that tested the limits of both attacker and defender. Finally, on May 29, 1453, Ottoman forces breached the city walls and poured into Constantinople. The city fell in a matter of hours, its streets running red with blood. The Byzantine Empire, the last vestige of Roman rule, was no more. The fall of Constantinople sent shockwaves throughout Europe. It marked the end of an era and the rise of a new power in the East. For the Ottomans, it was a triumph of epic proportions, a testament to their military might and a symbol of their imperial ambitions. Section 4. At Europe's Gates, Ottoman Expansion and European Reactions. With Constantinople under their control, the Ottomans transformed the city into their new capital, renaming it Istanbul. This strategic prize gave them control of the vital waterways connecting the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, further solidifying their power and influence. Mehmed II and his successors continued their westward expansion, pushing deeper into Europe. They conquered vast swathes of territory in the Balkans, incorporating Serbia, Bosnia, and parts of Hungary into their growing empire. The Ottoman advance into Europe was met with a mix of fear, resentment, and grudging admiration. European powers, divided by their own internal rivalries, were slow to form a united front against the Ottoman threat. Some European rulers even sought alliances with the Ottomans, hoping to exploit Ottoman might for their own political gain. This complex web of alliances and rivalries, often shifting and unpredictable, would characterize Ottoman-European relations for centuries to come. The Ottomans, for their part, saw themselves as the rightful heirs to the Roman Empire, destined to rule over a vast and diverse realm. Their expansion into Europe, therefore, was not mere conquest, but a matter of reclaiming what they believed was rightfully theirs. Section 5. Clash of Titans, the Ottoman-Habsburg Wars. The 16th century witnessed the Ottoman Empire at the zenith of its power. Under the reign of Suleiman the Magnificent, the Ottomans reached the peak of their territorial expansion and cultural achievements. This period also marked the beginning of a long and bitter struggle for supremacy in Europe, the Ottoman-Habsburg Wars. The Habsburg Empire, a sprawling dynasty centered in Austria and Spain, emerged as the Ottomans' primary rivals in Europe. The two empires clashed repeatedly over control of the Mediterranean, the Balkans, and the lucrative trade routes that flowed through these regions. One of the most significant clashes of this era was the Battle of Mohacs in 1526. Suleiman's forces decisively defeated the Hungarian army, killing King Louis II and shattering Hungarian resistance. This victory opened the way for Ottoman expansion into the heart of Europe. The Ottomans laid siege to Vienna in 1529, sending shockwaves through the Christian world. Although the siege was ultimately unsuccessful, it served as a stark reminder of the Ottoman threat to Western Europe. The Ottoman-Habsburg Wars raged on for generations, a series of bloody conflicts punctuated by brief periods of uneasy truce. These wars were not merely military confrontations. They were also clashes of cultures, religions, and ideologies shaping the destinies of millions on both sides of the battle lines. Section 6. A tide turns Lepanto and the limits of Ottoman power. While the Ottomans enjoyed a period of military dominance throughout much of the 16th century, their seemingly unstoppable advance into Europe began to falter. The Battle of Lepanto, fought in 1571 off the coast of Greece, marked a turning point in the Ottoman-European power dynamic. This epic naval engagement pitted the Ottoman fleet against a coalition of European powers known as the Holy League, led by Spain and Venice. The battle was a resounding defeat for the Ottomans, who lost a significant portion of their fleet and thousands of sailors. Although the Ottomans were able to rebuild their navy and continued to pose a formidable threat, the Battle of Lepanto shattered the aura of invincibility that had surrounded their military for decades. The defeat at Lepanto coincided with a period of internal challenges within the Ottoman Empire. Economic stagnation, bureaucratic corruption, and a succession of weak sultans began to take their toll. The empire, once a model of efficiency and military might, began to show signs of strain. This period of decline, while gradual, would have far-reaching consequences for the future of the Ottoman Empire and its place in the world. Section 7. The Sick Man of Europe, Decline and Internal Strife. By the 18th century, the Ottoman Empire, once a byword for military might and administrative efficiency, was increasingly referred to as the sick man of Europe. While it remained a vast and influential power, internal problems and external pressures began to chip away at its foundations. A series of unsuccessful wars against Austria and Russia exposed the limitations of the Ottoman military. The technological gap between the Ottomans and their European rivals continued to widen, leaving them vulnerable on the battlefield. Internal strife also plagued the empire. Revolts broke out in the Balkans, fueled by rising nationalism and resentment towards Ottoman rule. The central government, weakened by corruption and inefficiency, struggled to maintain order in its far-flung provinces. Economic woes further compounded the empire's problems. The Ottomans' once lucrative trade routes were disrupted by European exploration and colonization, while internal economic mismanagement led to inflation and declining living standards. The once mighty Ottoman Empire, now weakened and vulnerable, became increasingly susceptible to foreign interference. European powers, eager to exploit the empire's weakness for their own gain, began to meddle in Ottoman affairs, further destabilizing the region and setting the stage for the empire's eventual demise.